And away we go, and back we are with a little bit more modern. This is CherryxMan's Dice Factory. So CherryxMan is an awesome English, I believe he's English, brewer, streamer, competitor of modern events from time to time. So what is this deck? So the classic Dice Factory is a mono brown deck, a colorless deck that uses the cards Coretapper, Surge Node, Everflowing Chalice, and Astral Cornucopia to do a whole bunch of shenanigans with charge counters. So Surge Node enters the battlefield with 6 charge counters on it. You can move charge counters from it to other cards. Coretapper taps to put charge counters on something, but you can also sacrifice it to put 2 charge counters on something. And Astral Cornucopia and Everflowing Chalice both produce mana equal to the number of charge counters on them. And while they have their own native ability to put charge counters on, what you want to do ideally is use things like Surge Node and Coretapper to supercharge them. Then this deck is playing blue cards in the form of Emry, Lurker of the Loch, and Thought Monitor that each have affinity, as well as Metallic Rebuke for a tiny bit of stack-based interaction. This has improvise rather than affinity, but it similarly works with you having piles and piles of artifacts. Then we've got 1 Upheaval to go with our Urza Lord High Artificers and 4 Karn the Great Creators, with which we can hopefully win the game out of the sideboard with a number of different things. So the actual path to victory here is very much unclear, which I am more than excited about. Generally speaking, we're just going to put together a gigantic board of grindy, powerful value at a reasonably quick rate, and then dump powerful artifacts into play from that point. We can kill our opponent with Walking Ballista. We can set up different sort of prison setups. We've got a Cursed Totem in the sideboard, which I think is completely nuts since we kind of really want to be able to use our Urza most of the time, but I'm sure that's important from time to time. I'm not actually sure about that at all, but this does seem like this will be able to maximize the fun of Urza Lord High Artificer, Karn the Great Creator, maybe Upheaval, and potentially Urza Sagas in the mana base as well. So excited to try this one out. Looks really cool. So let's roll on in with some mono Urza Dice Factory. Yeah, this is pretty much every. These are a lot of cards I love. That's for damn sure. It's like I get to play affinity, but without any of the cards that actually want to kill my opponent. Any advice on tips to make MTGO need to restart less frequently? No, no, no. If it was getting so bad that you had to do it between matches, so I didn't play at all yesterday. Yeah, turning off animations is definitely one thing, but I have animations off, and today seems really bad. There was a patch at some point in the last 48 hours, and I'm not sure if that was affecting anything. Yeah, Urza's Saga plus Hex Parasite is something that I definitely want to explore in some lists because Hex Parasite, of course, you can fetch up with an Urza Saga. Um, and so the second Urza Saga will be able to go kind of nuts. Dom Harvey actually played a power conduit in the Sunday Challenge event that he won on Hardened Scales. So that's pretty cool. He also, I think he played 4 Zabaz. So if you haven't seen that list yet, Brian, I would look into that because it's pretty cool. Red green Hardened Scales. The red is literally just for activated ability, the one activated ability on Zabaz. Yeah, I don't think they want to shift out of mono green. or barely red-green. Yeah, exactly. Adding more colors is probably not worth it. This deck's construction looks so clean. It's just like so many four ofs. I kind of love that. And then just nonsense in the artifact slot, but you kind of get paid off. But with Ancient Stirrings, they are playing 2 copies of, where is it? Is it 2? Power Depot, which somehow still enters the battlefield tapped. I guess because it has that second ability. Add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. But the modular on it is obviously what you want it for. Dom's a good everything. Dom Harvey is a terrifying human being to be around. I mean, I'm sure, I know people toss this word around pretty liberally, but I feel like Dom is one of the most genius level people I've ever met in real life. Like, his perception, his sort of perceptive ability is unreal. Okay, so that looked weak. This looks weaker, but I guess it has a turn 1 Emry. Dom also has the voice of an angel. Yeah, it's all right. Well, I think on coverage he probably sounds a little better than like in person. And I'm not criticizing him. I'm just like in person, I think people usually sound less perfect than they do on coverage. Uh-oh. Yeah, yeah. That's kind of where I'm at, Brian. Did I hit a land? I did! We won the lottery. Now, the chances of continuing to win the lottery here are not great. Coretapper's a good draw, though. Because this means that I have something that sort of dodges... or rather, so Emry's going to sort of ride the lightning. And then Coretapper might get to stay alive for a turn or two. I ain't never mulligan to turn 1 Emry. I'm not going to start now. I do think in a teamer build where you were able to produce a turn 1 Emry with some level of consistency, Ragavan would be more enticing to me. And I guess said they have another lightning bolt on top. Crap. Anyway, so that's a thought for the future. Urza on top. Good lord. This is going to be another one of those decks where I cannot imagine how the person did as well as they did with this in the tournament that they played. But I guess we're on the draw against a Goblin Guide deck in game 1. So, like, that's kind of as bad as it gets. This draw is rough. Next turn, I can play Urza no matter what, I guess? Yes, that is unreasonable. That is completely unreasonable, Brian. You're a madman. That is not... You can't do that. Stop. Just attacks, huh? Alright. Surge note on top. Well, actually, that's a pretty good draw here. It's actually... Huh. Wild. You can't help yourself. I'm just going to tell you that, like, Welding Jar is not really playable in Modern right now. The last time Welding Jar was playable in Modern was when Mox Opal was legal. That's the last time Welding Jar was playable in Modern. Maybe you could play 1 or 2 in Hardened Scales, probably out of the sideboard, but realistically speaking, no. Dom just took first place. There was a single in the main. Sure, you could play 1. Yeah. So they have Rift Bolt coming off, and they have a Lightning Bolt in hand that I know about. So they can kill Urza here. But if that's what happens on this turn, I think I play out of that okay. The double Thought Monitor draw is brutal right now. I mean, our whole draw has been a clunky mess. I'm assuming they will go Bolt, Bolt, Urza. I'm definitely blocking if they give me the opportunity. And at least they'll have to trade another burn spell on the Urza. Yeah, I just like I wouldn't be surprised at all if Dom told me or anyone else that the Welding Jar was one of the worst cards in the main deck. And again, maybe there was a situation where it was good, but there was a reason he was only playing one of it, right? Metalcraft was the last time that card was well and truly playable. Okay, I'm at 7. Didn't shoot the Urza. Yeah. Well, and on top of that, like, most of the reason that Hardened Scale... Yeah, exactly. Or Indestructible. But one of the things is, like, Hardened Scales is so good because they usually just shrug off all the removal. They don't care. They don't care about removal. That's, like, one of the joys of playing Hardened Scales is, like, kill any of my creatures. I was going to sack them anyway for grotesque value. What's that, opponent? You want to kill my Hangerback Walker? Hold on, I got a response. Let me crank that. So we have a Wurmcoil? Is that Boris Charm? Are they giving their creature Double Strike? Sure. You got me. Urza has died. Urza's dead. Long live the Urza. I feel like that was a terrible decision on my opponent's part. But who am I to judge? So I have 1, 2, 3. So Thought Monitor currently costs 4. I need to get Karn in, plus have enough mana for Wurmcoil. So maybe I'm just going charge Cornucopia, play Karn, get the Wurmcoil, next turn cast the Wurmcoil. Yeah, that's 100% what I'm doing. And I get to keep this Construct in play the whole time. I'll play this Saga. So we go 1 mana. Move. You know, Brian, I know you're a fan of your jank. Thanks for the follow there, M. Popa. I know you're a fan of your jank decks that you have created over time. Let me tell you something. It might be time to bring back Saheeli, Surge Node, Cornucopia. All right, Wurmcoil. You're on a 2-turn clock, opponent. Oh, I'll threaten you with as many good times as I want, Brian. Yeah, JK Torborg it was. If you look on my YouTube, you can find a blue-red Dice Factory list that is just remarkable. Are they putting me to 1 or are they putting me to dead? Putting me to 1. Okay. I'm not dead yet. You're the king? Well, I didn't vote for you. Help, help, I'm being repressed. Do I have a better thing to get out of the sideboard? Oh, there's a Witchbane Orb. Bait and switch, opponent. Bait and switch. You'd love to see Saheeli in this list. Yeah, we've done it. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can play Thought Monitor here. So I had the option, obviously, of playing Thought Monitor or Wurmcoil, but I kind of want to find a Metallic Rebuke because right now I'm insulated from them hitting multiple creatures. But what I need to do right now is try to find a way to make sure that they don't get through with creatures with some burn spells. Luckily, Searing Blaze can't kill me right now because it does actually target a player. So it's pretty hard for them to win from this point, and we should be able to just set up and win. The +1/+1 counter is better, Last God, because it works with Hardened Scales. So yeah, Saheeli Sublime Artificer is the card from War of the Spark. They conceded. For 1 blue or red. And her downtick ability works crazy with Surge Node and Chalice or Cornucopia. Yeah, usually Last God. If you just think of most game states, the hexproof is going to be better, and the fact that it's a permanent 1 or 2 or more +1/+1 counters, plus it synergizes with things like Walking Ballista or Hangerback Walker or Zabaz or Arcbound Ravager. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyone think Leyline of Sanctity might be good here? I feel like Leyline of Sanctity is what I'm all about here. If they get Eidolon on the play, there's largely nothing I can do about that except for push through a Wurmcoil again. So that's where we're at. Yeah, so Saheeli turns your Surge Node. No. No, not Saheeli Rai. Saheeli Sublime Artificer. So what Saheeli does is she turns your Surge Node into an Everflowing Chalice or a Cornucopia on turn 3. In theory, if you sequence it out right. And then what happens is your Surge Node has the 6 charge counters on it, but all of a sudden it's not a Surge Node anymore. It's a Cornucopia or Chalice, which means you get access to 6 mana bang on turn 3, which is kind of exciting. Now, what are you going to do with it? Well, we have more options than ever, and we can actually play the deck as a mono blue. Plus, there's Upheaval now, so you could literally just Upheaval that turn if you needed to. More than likely what you'd be doing is shooting for a turn 4 Upheaval. Did my audio cut out for anyone else? It's fine on my end. So hopefully it's fine. Oh, no. Should have cut that guy. I have ley lines in right now, so I should probably mull this hand, right? Opponent kept their 7. Yeah, let's mull. There it is. All right, keep. Bottom the Tormod script that I don't want again. Hey, opponent. Beat that. I would assume Graveyard Hate's the way to go, Last God, but I haven't played against it enough yet. Surge Node. So unfortunately, Coretapper doesn't get to do anything on this board right away. I mean, I can put more more charges on the Surge Node, but that's excessive. Still gonna play it, but Eidolon. Sure. I don't think I'm playing this Coretapper at all. It's just not worth doing with nothing to do with it. Oh, well, now I have something to do with. Wow, what terrible timing, huh? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I mean, I think I play the Cornucopia this turn, but not the Coretapper. And then next turn I play Coretapper into Thought Monitor. Because this turn I can use the Surge node to move a counter into the Cornucopia. I could have done that and then played the Coretapper. Oh well. I'm not going to worry about it too much. No. Smash smithereens. Jeez. Well, it's a good thing this came down before I played the Coretapper, I guess. Seeing the smithereens, though, is kind of nice because it means they probably aren't playing, what's the red-green card? Destructive Revelry. So they may not have an out for the Leyline. This terrible draw. Come on. So 1, 2, 3. So we play Bauble into Thought Monitor here. Playing the Coretapper is pretty pointless. It puts me kind of too low to even be getting along with. Yikes. That is not what I wanted to see. Womp womp. All right, maybe go into a game 3 here. Maybe, you know, it's possible. It's possible. Another Swift Spear. Yikers. There's no way they don't have a burn spell that can. Well, they do play Boros Charms and Lava Spikes, and yeah, they're spiking themselves here. So I get to block their Eidolon and get it off the table here. Wild. Unless they just don't attack with it, which would be the smart thing to do, which is what they'll probably do. Especially because I just mentioned it. Yep. All right, what's on top of my deck? Is it something that's going to get me out of this or not? Karn. Well, it's not getting me out of this right away. Or probably at all at this point. I don't know, I guess I'm supposed to block here. We get Karn. Karn gets me Wurmcoil, and then I probably die to combat. I guess if I had drawn Urza here, that's fine. Going to game 3. Thought Monitor for President. I haven't been impressed so far with the Jiggy. I mean, there have been a couple games where it's been okay, but like I think it's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad card. I like it. I'm just not impressed by it. I don't want to elect it president. I'm literally home right now. No, I love Thought Monitor. I just said it, but like, yeah, I don't know if I've played against much control in the new meta. Is it main deck Ballista? Yeah. Out of all the sideboard cards, that seems like the best. Or maybe Rebuke on the play. Maybe I could bring in multiple Rebukes. Upheaval's unnecessary here. And then 1 Chalice or Cornucopia. Yeah, Cornucopia. All right. Games have been going okay, Barbecue Hoss. I do love the Bureaucrat song. Hey, Bogo Shark. Yikes. Yeah, not keeping that one. Oh. Why? The burn deck keeps a 7 again. No. Oh my god, why is this hand so bad? All right. That's just as bad as the other ones. Ugh. Why do you do this to me? I can't, like, there's no keep here. Ah, brutal. Yay, turn to Emry. And I didn't find a Leyline, so we're definitely gonna top deck one. You never knew that you needed a monkey in your life. Well, now you know. If you didn't know, now you know. Helper monkey? Yeah. Jojo. Alright, give me the land. Nope. Metallic Rebuke on top. Perfect. Thank goodness for the timing. Well, at least kind of have a nice clear turn. Like, so I don't sack my Bauble, play this land, play the Emry, pass the turn, and we have Metallic Rebuke up to hopefully protect Emry. But that means I miss out on the card draw. But I'll catch up to it next turn. Milled a Coretapper, Bauble, and Chalice. Woof. And a land, which would have been great. One card higher. Oh well. Beggar not chooser, I suppose. Why did we have to win game one and have hope? I didn't want to have hope. Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, well, thought it was going to be a removal spell. So I should have countered the Swiss Spear, but I thought this was going to be a lightning bolt. So now maybe they actually registered that I had the Metallic Rebuke on top, and so they intentionally did that so that they wouldn't walk into the bolt. But I don't want to imagine that my burn opponent is intelligent, because then I'm super dead. I feel like they goofed game one, though, so maybe not. Okay, so we play Surge Node. Then we play Chalice. This is game 3. Yeah. Had some pretty bad mulligans so far, so I'm blaming the potential game loss on that fact. Okay. So what's on top? This is manufacturer free Joe Cheney. The previous deck had manufacturers. We went off really sweet one time. Just once. If they have a Smash to Smithereens here, we're basically just toast. That's a really good draw. If they don't have a Smash here, we maybe could possibly be somewhat okay. But I guess if they don't have a Smash, they probably have Bolt and Boros Charm. And we're taking 4, 5, 1, and 2, which sounds dead. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It would be 12. Okay, so Helix. Oh, they're going upstairs. Okay. So I'm going to 3. Going to 3 against the Lightning Bolt deck. Feels good. Feels good, man. I mean, as far as bad draws go, that's pretty good. But it doesn't actually help me like at all. I guess I can. No, no, no. So we play a Bauble. So I have 4 things in play. So we go move 1 counter. Play Thought Monitor. Do you have a land drop available? Yikes. Man, if we had 1 more turn, we might be able to make it here. But I think I maximized that, and it's just not possible. Can't do it. Their game was too fast. Turn 1 Goblin Guide, turn 2 Swift Spear with multiple 1-mana spells along the way. Yeah, no worries. Lost a burn. It happens. They can top deck a land. They had 3 cards in hand though. Like they kept their 7 on the draw, right? And we mulled to 5 with no leyline. So there was no realistic way to win that game. For some reason, Alex, the way that people were talking about Toronto, the Toronto Canadiens. Oh, no problem, Joe Cheney. The way people were talking about the Leafs Habs series, I thought that was the Stanley Cup Finals. That's how hooked in I am to hockey. By the by. Like the way I think it's just Toronto fans like actually hoping that we won any number of series. That's awesome, Last God. Comfy chairs are life. All right. Let's roll on to match the second. That's fine, Dan. It wasn't like I was like spammed with it. It was a slow burn. Can I keep this hand? This seems bad. But like turn 2, 1-mana Emry. Eh. Match number 2, keepable. I don't even know that this should be defined as a keepable 7, Last God. I guess we popped the Bauble on the first turn cycle because I can play Emry on turn Lord of Atlantis. Oh no. I can play Emry on the second cycle, and then I have a Blast Zone. Okay. Aether Vial, sure. I guess we have Pithing Needles. Okay, this is gonna be an interesting matchup. Of course, I drew Tormod Crypt. How could I not? All right. Let me get Emry in here. The Folk. Yeah. Okay, we milled a Cornucopia. That's good. Well, that's good, Barbecue Hoss. You got to be a fan of something. It's good to be passionate about something in this world. Of course they had Spreading Seas. How could they not? But looks like things might be able to work out okay for us anyway. So Cornucopia. Very quickly going to cast me an Urza. So go Coretapper, sack Coretapper, Coretapper. Said Coretapper so many times it's lost all meaning. Race them with the giant island Walking Emry. I mean, that's the dream, isn't it? That's what we tell ourselves, Pogo Shark, but tap your Corb, baby. Rashad and Dockhand. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's coming for you. Guys, they're playing Legacy power level cards. It's all over, people. We don't have a prayer. Who needs lands when we got betas? Alright. Swinging in for one, eh? Coretapper their Vial? I mean, it's certainly a thing. Wait. Surge Node your Vial. Thanks for the heads up, Banoka. That is super useful because I can put their Vial on 4 and then it's just useless. Silvergale, sure. You got it. That is a sweet line. Opponent said best play of the game. Yo. Got him. I mean, I'm putting it up more. There's no way putting it on 4 is not correct because they do in fact have 3s. Not many. What is this? What's happening? I'm sorry, what now? You just cast Boomerang? Okay. Okay, Boomerang. Very well. Quality gamesmanship. So, Urza. Cornucopia. Bauble. Cast the Coretapper. For 1, 2. And I think tap. I want to sack the Bauble, sack the Coretapper to Surge Node their Vial. Just because they do have 3s. It's probably just worth doing it, and I kind of have more mana than I know what to do with at this point. It's going pretty good, Odince. We're not doing a terribly large amount of winning, but I am doing a good amount of learning. So far, I've learned I like this Dice Factory list. Play for play, baby. Play for play. They also could be color screwed. In my mind, the better Merfolk build right now is blue-white. Mariner is really good. Okay, sure. Didn't kick it. Just happy with their 2/2. They can't attack. They don't have a lord that's giving Island Walk. We should attack for 1, sure. We are more Johnny than Spike. I mean, I have a little bit of everyone. I got a little bit of country. I got a little bit of rock and roll. Well, I'm a little bit Johnny. And I'm a little bit Spike Control. I'm not playing Power Conduit in this deck, Creevy. I don't know. But I certainly could be. No, I understand the way it works. It's just that Power Conduit is generally like not a super useful card in most decks that aren't hardened scales. So I'm pretty sure there's a reason. No, I get it. I get it. I'm just saying there's a reason you're not going to see that often. Like even the hardened scales deck that won the challenge that was seriously. All right, fine. Double boomerang. What's on top of my deck? Karn? Yeah, I could be into drawing a Karn. So if I'm going to draw a Karn, let's play Chalice on 2. Fish Ponza? I mean, Merfolk has always had that part of it, I think. The sort of mana disruption package. Plus they have yeah, they have lords that give all their stuff Island Walk, so not squishy Ponza. Okay, we're taking 8 here. So I need this card to resolve. Well, that doesn't help me do the thing that I need to do. They have 2 cards in hand. Force blue card? Nope. All right. Looking over. We do have a bridge in the sideboard. We've got something even better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mana. Yeah, this is better. Yeah. Sushi with Ponza sauce. Delicious. All right, we won both game 1s. So yeah, the reason I prefer Ballista here to bridge is that I get to kill their lord and probably more of their creatures, and then at that point, it's just like really hard for them to do anything about it because like next turn I just crank it if they don't kill it. If they do kill it, I have Emry to replay it, so it's just sort of they're just sort of done at that point. So I think we just bring in 1 Metallic Rebuke, probably cut 1 Upheaval. And get the Crypt out of here. Maybe I get to keep the Upheaval. Maybe I should main deck the Ballista. No. Main deck the second Pithing Needle? Yeah. That's probably correct. It's like I don't need to wish for the pit. Well, I guess it's good to be able to wish for the Pithing Needle again. Well, if I have a Karn in play, I'm already shutting down their Vial. So, yeah. Yeah, if Needle's just for Vial, I can bring it out of the sideboard. Whereas I don't think we're ever likely to resolve an Upheaval. Although I guess I could have in that game. Yeah, maybe that's wrong. I just feel like 6 mana sorcery is probably insane against them. Like one of the nice things about this deck is a lot of the things we play are creatures. I am really sick of always playing blue decks because I like them though, and constantly being punished against Merfolk because they just all get to have Island Walk forever. I think I'm keeping this hand because just shutting down an early Aether Vial should slow them down by a lot. And the Saga can get me a shit. Well, I guess I could just shut that down. Well, it doesn't really help me. I think I just Needle Aether Vial with maybe Saga, because I need. So on turn 3, oh, this is probably a mistake because I can never make a construct with it this way. Yeah, I want to get a Surge node with it. So this is probably incorrect, but whatever. I don't think they have any other good activated abilities. I guess I could shut down the Waterlog Groove, but it's fine. Oh, I can, because I'm gonna play the Chalice, I could make a construct on 3. Unless they turn my Saga into an island this turn. They have to know that that's the thing, though. Okay, good. It was actually almost definitely a mistake to play out the Urza Saga first. I just was like, oh, I want it to get me a Surge node as quickly as possible. But I think that's probably not the right way to handle this. Oh, I'll just name Mutavault now. That's good. So next turn I make a construct, fetch a Surge node, and then we'll see where we're at from there. Artifacts counts really good though. If I hit a Thought Monitor, it's gonna be cheap. Oh no! Do they know? It doesn't matter. Yeah. There's no way in the world they don't target that anyway. Alright, well. That sucked. God damn you, Urza's Saga. Why are you so vulnerable? Merfolk Wizard. Oh, and clearly I should have named the Dockhand. Because now I'm screwed on mana and colors. I can't do anything. Whoops. Well, that went badly. Just name the Dockhand next time, Zach. They had one in play. You just assumed it wasn't going to be a problem. That was a mistake. I was supposed to get the Surge node this turn. We would have been cooking. So if you make Urza's Saga into a basic land with Blood Moon, Spreading Seas, or Tide Shaper, anything like that, it dies. Because it becomes a Saga. Or, sorry, it is a Saga. And it loses all of its abilities. Which means if it has any number of chapter counters on it, well, actually, no. It doesn't matter. It loses all its abilities and it's a Saga. A Saga with no number of chapters to tell it how big it's allowed to get will just die. It's just part of the rules. So basically, the way the game treats it is if it has no ability, its highest chapter is 0. So if it has any number of the chapter counters on it, time counters, I don't know what they're called, then it dies. Well, I've finally actually been Rashad imported. Yeah, and lots of people don't know that it's a very fine detail point about sagas that just pretty much never comes up. And the garbage tier reminder text on sagas doesn't help. Hey, Sir Karsten. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 artifacts, which means I'm 1 short to play the Thought Monitor, which kind of sucks. Oh, wait. I can play this blank Cornucopia. 5, 6. Yeah, all right. That'll do. I'm into it. It's not the best plan ever, but it's a plan. Thought Monitor. Prepare yourself, opponent. Your thoughts are being monitored. We are the brain police. Well, that was not the best draw. Hopefully they've drawn at least one Aether Vial. But I'm not going to hold my breath. Their beatdown is going really slow. We might be able to get there in time. We'll see. By there, I mean Karn. Where we're going, we don't need Karn. No, wait. Yes, we do. Jeez. Uh-huh. You're a jerk, opponent. And they can double port me again. Although they can't attack right now. That's pretty good. Oh, they can't double port me. They only have 1 mana. So I'm going to get to play my Karn. Good. 1984, baby. There you go. Yeah. That is what I clunkily described earlier. I think it's fair to say that I did. So do I get Ballista or do I get like Bridge here? I don't think it matters what I get. Karn is, well, it matters what I get, but Karn's going to die no matter what. If they have a Lord, I'd rather get, well, their build is weird. Yeah, sure. But the upshot of the rule is if you cause a Saga to lose all of its abilities, then it dies. That's really, that's all you need to know. If a Saga loses all of its abilities, it dies. Full stop. Well, we don't know that, right, Last God? Because they sideboarded, and yeah, they don't have double blue in play right now. They're playing freaking Tech Edge in Merfolk. That's crazy to me. That's crazy, right? It seems crazy. Well, they're tanking. That's a good sign. Yeah, I guess so, Mike. Keep going. There it is. Oh, you're just going. Oh, I see. So they're guaranteeing Karn goes to 1 here? Well, I mean, there's no point in not aggressively trading the Thought Monitor, because if they manage to get a Lord into play, I won't be able to trade it for anything anymore. So you just trade it off. Sure. What? What? Why are you playing that? What? Yeah, I guess. Holy crap. Oof. OUPH oof. Alright, well, boot up my Pithing Needle. Jesus. Cursed Totem. This deck's sideboard has a Cursed Totem. Turn off their own ports, though. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's crazy to me. Not that they play a lot of activated abilities, but they play a few. 2-turn clock, but they all... No, they're not. The dock hands have Island Walk. So the dock hands are, in fact, unblockable. And they do have double blue now. So if they have a Lord, no, I'm just dead on board. If they have a Lord, I'm done. I'm dead. We go to game 3. But goes to combat. All right. I think they just attack for 3. We'll see. And they're going to harass my Karn. Oh, they're going to kill the Karn. Interesting choice. Okay. Fine by me. Nothing I can do about it. Yeah, the dock hands have the very modern fire design thing of just way too much damn text. I was really hoping I wouldn't say those words, Michael. I did not want to hear the words they could tech edge my Saga, because they've already killed 2 Sagas, and I really, really, really would like to get something going. It's fine. I mean, you don't need to, you know. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I get to make a... Okay. I mean, I can't use him for mana, but, so actually, this is not super helpful at all. In any way. I mean, it kind of is. Actually, we have close to a lethal crackback. You want Consecrate Land. I don't know what that is. Can't be enchanted by other auras. What a line of text. All right. Well, we have a lethal crackback. It's probably not relevant in any way, but I have it. If I had any way to take their Cursed Totem off the battlefield, it'd be great. Needs Darksteel Garrison. We could Karn Wish for it. So they should swing with Svalin and the 3 dock hands. Then I crack back with 2 constructs, and then, well, I'm not dead. We'll see what they choose to do. Oh, I guess they could just chump block with, well, I say chump block. They can just block forever with Svalin, because it's indestructible. I'm surprised they didn't crack in to draw the card, but I guess they're worried about dying if I actually had interaction, which I don't. This deck needs Sky Sovereign in the sideboard right now. Not actually, but like it's the way you play through Oof in Legacy. Just play Affinity with Artifact Duels and Amulets of Vigor. You know, I have the boat sound. I just don't have the boat in the sideboard, so why would I play the boat sound? Brian of the Serum Visions podcast, Last God, was interested in that. Apparently he tried it out, but it was not successful as I thought it probably wouldn't be. If there was like Artifact Fall, you didn't try it? I thought you said you did. Huh. Yeah? Really? Wait, what? Urza? What? Uh-huh. But what? You gave me another construct. And you lost 2 life for that. I don't understand. Okay. Attack you for lethal. This seems like a huge mistake on their side. Huh? You have an indestructible blocker. What are you doing? About to get dazed? I got 1,000,000 mana, dude. I'm cool. I don't want to be thunderstruck, but daze is fine. Surge Node on top. All right. Guess I'll play the second one. All right, opponent, kill me. I mean, I don't understand what just happened. Their god had indestructible. They could have just blocked one of them with it. And I don't know. I don't know. There's no reckoning with merfolk. There's no... You can't understand the merfolk. Don't even try. Afraid intelligence is our opponent's dump stat. Great dexterity, though. I mean, if they just have a lord, I'm dead. But, like... Can't grasp their moves. Like, they could have killed one of my constructs there. Like, what were they doing? Stay tuned, Creevy, because later this week I'm probably gonna play. Yeah, they scooped out. Weird. Later this week I'm gonna play the Lantern deck that did okay in a challenge. Be right back. 1 second. Got cool enough in here. Wisdom, not intelligence. Oh, thanks for the follow there, Creevy. Craive. Why Torpor Orb has jumped in price of recent. Modern Horizons 2? I don't know which deck specifically, but Modern Horizons 2. Torpor Orb does not stop Cascade, so I don't understand why that would be the case. But I'm sure there's a reason. Yeah, I remember Pirate Stompy. Oh, it's ha. Yeah, no. This is someone who hangs out on the Serum Visions Discord. Okay, so this is like Surge Node Cornucopia as an opener, which is like really not good, but a second land would help. But we are a low land count deck, so I think we just mulligan that. This is like so much worse. But maybe it works out. Tezzeret's Gambit is what? 3 mana if you play the Phyrexian mana? I don't no. I would say no. The answer is no. I don't think there's a single deck in Modern that has room for Tezzeret's Gambit. 3 mana, draw 2, proliferate, but you pay 2 life. There's a card from War of the Spark that's basically better than that. Jeez. Which is 1 and a blue, proliferate, draw a card. That is much closer to playable. So we ended up against the Thoughtseize deck. Well, that's a really good top deck. Okay. Have you ever wished Draw Thopter was just hot Thoughtcast? This is my first league with this deck, so no. But if you had asked me that question in one of the games where I had 2 of them in my hand and I was clunked up, yes. But that hand was already a problem. Contentious Plan. Yeah, that sounds right. So, yes, Michael, but in a more real way, no. Oh my god. It's horrifying. Well, it's an okay draw. Your creature has shadow, opponent. I can't block it anyway. Your favorite card of the set. Why am I not surprised? Which card in this set adds the most devotion to black? Well, Magus of the Bridge. But Dathi Voidwalker is a much better card. It's going to be opponents in a moment? No, it won't be. Are you kidding me? You think they're going to sacrifice their 3/2 and not attack to have a Coretapper or a Saga? I don't think they're playing Urza's Saga. That is so horrible. Boo! Oh my god, why? Oh. No, it's much worse. It's much, much worse. Blech. That's brutal. Jesus. What even is any of this? The sad thing is we're not really losing. Black white doing comparable things in modern. Your dreams have come true. You know, Mike, I've always said one of the most they have Ensnaring Bridge. Goodness gracious. One of the nicest things about you, Mike, is that you have the right size dreams. Wait, they're playing Ensnaring Bridge in their Dothy Voidwalker deck? What is anything? I mean, I guess the Voidwalker is not really supposed to be an aggressive creature, even though it's a 3/2 for 2. Like, that's not what you have it for. It's black white pox? I mean, maybe? I haven't seen a lot of the cards I would expect to. Like, if they had a pox, would they not have played it by now? Or am I crazy? One, two, three, four. Thanks, Freak. We will definitely do that today. How you doing, friend? You brewing anything cool? Nice. Well, I'll come by, but I'll stream Liz for you. Or I will raid Liz for you. You brewed Reanimator? Nice. Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I could sack the Coretapper. Oh. Let's see what I draw. I got 2 draws, right? So they have 4 cards in hand. So instead of oh shoot. Oh, but I can sack the Coretapper. Cool. So Saga triggers here. We get Needle on Voidwalker. Seems good. Yeah. This is a 4/4 right now. Play Urza. They can eat it with Kaya. Well, Kaya's gonna die. I mean, they could have another Kaya, which would be obviously kind of a pain in the ass. But like, the danger with leaving the Voidwalkers in play is if they mill or discard somehow, which I don't know that they have a way to do that. But if they get my Karn, one of my Karns, that's like really bad news, right? So I'd like to avoid that. Just thinking ahead. Even Thought Monitor would be pretty frightening. If they manage to remove my Urza right now, like obviously I'm in trouble. I assume they're playing some Liliana of the Veils, but they could easily just be playing Fatal Pushes, Vindicates, whatnot. Bone Shards, of course. Totally reasonable card for them to be playing. Oh, okay. Now they have 2 cards in hand. I can't attack anymore. Although their Voidwalker can't either for the moment. Although they'll draw next turn. We'll see. We got to draw out of this. They have Kyle on top. Goodness gracious. All right. Karn plus Walking Ballista. Well, there's a Karn. So I think I just plus it this turn. If they have a Vindicate on top of everything else, I mean, I've got more Urza spins, I guess. But probably just doomed from that point. Incoming Kaya. I'm no longer worried about Kaya taking the needle. Oh, they did shuffle their Kaya. Huh, good catch. They can still have Vindicate or whatnot, but that's something. So that means if they don't attack down Karn, I just get Ballista first, shoot down the Voidwalker, and then eventually kill the bridge. We are more go and get Walking Ballista. Voidwalker coming in. Oh, go from a face. Do you have a plan, or you just futzing around there, opponent? I got a plan. Not a good plan, but I got one. Second bridge. And that won't take too much longer to get through. You got it. Man, their Douthie Voidwalker really can't attack now. Three, 4, So I can kill one bridge next turn. If I want to. We'll just kill the Voidwalker immediately just because they do have some cards in exile with void counters. So no free value for them. There was an Urza. Not that they... Well, they have 2 artifacts in play. It's looking good. And like now they kind of need to kill Urza, and they kind of need to kill Karn, and they kind of need to kill the Ballista. Like things are kind of coming up Millhouse here. This deck is doing it. Another Bone Shards? Prismatic Ending. Okay. So we could Tormod's Crypt our Ballista and then wish for it again. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? For a Pox deck or like a black-white control prison deck, Mike. That card makes a lot of sense to me. Huh. I could have attacked with Urza. Well, okay. Sure. Okay. Why not just let them exile it? Oh my god! You're right! I was like, I can't let them exile it, then it'll be an exile. Where I obviously could just wish for it with Karn, you idiot. For some reason, I thought it had to go through the graveyard. Because, you know, my brain is good. Well... So before I do anything else, let's spin Urza once. Because if I hit a second Karn, I want to know now. Second Urza. I mean, I'll take it. Keep the original, though. I mean, I can always just get a Needle to shut down Liliana. Looks like if I go for the Crypt now... Oh, I can get Coating. Doi. Wait, is that worth doing? Prison versus prison. Well, we're eventually going to Ballista them down. Well, Coating turn off Lily is the same as Needle turn off Lily, right? Essentially. It's just that with more steps. But Needle turn off Lily means I'm free to just spin my Urza until I hit another Karn. And we're drawing like 3 cards a turn that way. So I think that's fine. Of course. Coating dodges Kaya. I mean, I will get the Coating next turn because then I can shut down all of their lands. Not next turn. Turn after next. I will eventually get the Coating because shutting down their lands means they'll start getting cards clunked up in hand in theory. But I don't know. This is a really tricky... This is a really hard situation to be in. Like, I trying to play the percentages on which exact line is... Oh, well, that solves things a little bit. So, they have 1 card in hand, so let's boot up Pithing Needle, the Voidwalker Pithing Needle, and go attack Lily for 2. Coretapper, sure. So in order to save some click equity, I'm going to get this Chalice on 5. So we can just do this. One, two, three. Been playing Urza decks a long time. Learn a lot of little tricks to saving time. There we go. So keep this one. Crypt myself. Actually, we'll do that next turn to get the Ballista. I guess if their last card in hand was Bone Shards or Vindicate or something like that, that will be end up kicking me in the teeth. But Voidwalker, you got it. Best to just dodge Thoughtseize. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. Right. I think I think it's probably correct to dodge the Thoughtseize rather than trying to dodge Vindicate. Like the Vindicate is much less likely. So now we go Crypt myself. The Crypt goes into exile with the Void counter, but the Ballista doesn't. Or at least it shouldn't. Yeah, it didn't. Oh, I can get my stuff that has the Void counter on it. That's actually one of the many. If you, again, gun to my head, if you ask me like how does that work, I would be able to tell you. Here's my big boy. I honestly could just crank the Ballista enough to kill them in 2 turns, so that's probably what I'm going to do. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Sharing's caring. Well, the messed up one that I'm sure you're aware of, Mike, was there's a card called Ixalan's Binding. No, I have 2 mana open turtle power to make a construct if I want to. Or just move a Surge Node counter over to an Everflowing Chalice. So Ixalan's Binding exiles a creature or planeswalker and then says you can't play cards with the chosen name. But if you exile Squee the Immortal, they Inquisition themselves and discarded their Asmarano, Marduk, Dice in the Kuldakar. Wow. Anyway, Squee the Immortal is the one you can cast from exile. Well, you don't need to pretend, Mike, anymore. It was stupid and broken, and now it's stupid but fixed. That's all you need to know. It was stupid and broken, and now it's stupid and fixed. Correct. When going to cast a spell, you move that spell from wherever it is onto the stack as the first step of casting the spell. And in the case of Ixalan's Binding plus Squee, Squee said you could cast it from exile. So even though it was imprinted on the Ixalan's Binding, all of a sudden it was on the stack. And so it wasn't on the binding anymore. So clearly it's okay. Well, that might just be a meta call for the moment, Creevy. Well, it's not Wizards basically said. They changed the rules to have it reflect the correct thing. So like there's a card in Strixhaven called Stern Proctor. Stern Proctor has a triggered ability that responds to your opponent's triggered abilities. Well, everyone's triggered abilities. However, the way the rules of Magic work, if your opponent plays a Snapcaster Mage on your turn, what happens to the triggers? Well, technically what used to happen was your trigger from Stern Proctor would go on the stack underneath the Snapcaster Mage's trigger. Which meant that you'd never have to pay for it. Right. So they changed the rules because that was not working as intended. So now, if there's something that is a trigger caused by triggered abilities, it will always go on top. I don't know the exact wording of the rules update, but that is the upshot of it. How's Upheaval good? Urza gives you tons of mana, as well as this deck sort of is a mana producing engine. And Upheaval allows you to take advantage of your ability to play out a large board very quickly, where your opponent is most likely gonna pick up their entire board, and then their first turn with the new game state is gonna be land, go to discard. Right, and that was the thing. LC Knight Rider is it was just broken as intended. Yeah, that's also something that's possible, Creepy. I mean, that's not something you're going to do every time, but it's something you can do some of the time. Yep. That's definitely a thing that will happen sometimes. It's mostly just that like Upheaval in general works if you're the one casting it. That's the and if your deck can produce reasonable swaths of mana, which this deck definitely can. If I'm an old Wurm player, you don't want them to have fun. Well, this deck definitely has some prison elements to it, and it's got this sort of flying by the seat of your pants feeling of Susurrus was quite the gamer. Canister's still around though, and he played a bunch of War Prison. I bet he'll play this deck at some point. I would wager. All right, I'll keep this. We definitely want to keep our 7 against the Mondo discard deck. Bye, Emry. Sad face. Unless they have a removal spell that they want to... Yeah, no, they don't. Yikes. Artifacts are pretty neat. I quite agree. I just think they're neat. So I want to play Saga on turn 3. Gosh, without an acceleration piece. Well, speak of the devil. So that. Then we play this. Kicker 0. Kick it. Do 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 do. Ask and ye shall receive. That's biblical. That's what that is. God, I need to watch that movie again. Chicken Run is so goddamn good. Damn Americans. Oversexed, overpaid, and over here. It really sounds like a line from a much better movie. But then, what could be better than Chicken Run? It's got Mel Gibson, goddammit. Mel Gibson. Vindicate my Saga. Do it, nerd. Fragmentize, anyone? Anyone in for a Fragmentize? Fracturing Gust when they get to triple white. Well, Fracturing Gust, right? Cool, Jig. What's the list look like? I believe I'm going to Merry Winter. I've got a backing track for it. So my short answer is yes, I'm going to do the mono red song, which is to the tune of Monorail. And then hopefully I'm going to do this is the list that CherryxMan was working on. Hopefully I'm also going to do the Stonecutters song, but written about Wizards R&D. So this is chapter 2 triggering. Okay, good. Sorry, the way that visually just messed me up. Urza is great. I am a fan. So I guess this Emry's safe in every way. And then we Surge plus Saga. Yeah, this seems really good. Okay. If they have Ensnaring Bridge again, yeah, it's going to be a pain. Maybe we can play through. We'll see. The Gilf Modern Desires. That's a description. Good lord. Yeah. What? Oh no! What? You monster. Oh. Well, at least we get to Pithing Needle them, but like, Jesus. Gosh, that is just unbelievably rude. At least I have enough lands that I could play an Urza or Karn, and again, I still get to Needle them. Okay. I don't think that's how you wanted to do that, but alright. So... Okay, then. Opponent, I have some questions. Well, more some concerns. Well, I'll let you figure it out for yourself. Most people still think you lose Saga in the upkeep. Maybe. Oh, I milled my needle! No! It's actually really bad. That's really bad. I blame Wizards for writing god-awful reminder text. Yeah, I guess I just get another Bauble. I mean, I have a construct they need to deal with. Not that they're unlikely to be able to, because they're playing black-white removal.deck. I mean, they have a Lilion in play. Maybe they have a second one in their hand, and they just ping off my construct. Crypt, remove it, and get Karn to get it from exile. I mean, maybe someday. Maybe someday. Not this turn. Kaya on top. Brutal. Oh. God damn it. Oh, that's really rough. That's... Jeez. They play Bridge instead. Wild. You're a strange one, opponent. Discard Underworld Cookbook. What a crazy brew. We have tons of good draws. If I can get a Needle ahead of the Kaya. Yikes. I cannot. Emry's good. That'll get the Needle back. Then I have to Needle the Kaya. Oh well. Oh, they can just Kaya plus on the Needle. But then if I draw a card, well, we'll see. We'll see. Nothing means nothing, man. Nothing means nothing. I think I should start calling Urza the cream of the crop. Wait, what? They just played Cookbook instead of the Kaya that's in their hand? Did they shuffle the Kaya away again without me noticing? Or are they just being goofy? Target player sacks a creature. Okay. You got me. Play Pithing Needle. Yeah. Kaya Orzhov Usurper. Yeah. That's kind of what I was expecting them to do, Gato. I thought I was toast. But that's not what they did. Jiggy. That was a quick turnaround. I can agree with that, Jig. That's why the teamer list is what it is, right? There's the Kaya discard for the food token. Okay. Now, Voidwalker is a pain in the ass because now my Emry cards get eaten. Although I could just immediately top deck Urza because I'm just like a boss, you know? Whatever. You know, if that was something I wanted to, I guess that I could. So maybe let's play a Chalice. Because then over the next couple turns, the Chalice will go into maximum overdrive. So move a charge counter. Move a charge counter. Charge it. Yeah. I'll give them a Coretapper to sacrifice if they want it. Tormod Crypt. Good draw. Not a great draw, but a good draw. Are you trying it with what version of the teamer list do you like though, Jake? Because you were mentioning Ragavan, and I'm not in on Ragavan at all. I think, jeez, I guess top deck for top deck, eh? Yeah, I can't get behind a Ragavan in an Urza manufacturer list. It's the rest of the deck is just well, they're all in my Stream Decker, which I think we have a link for. Yeah. Well, this Upheaval all of a sudden feels really great. I would like to replay Coretapper this turn. Or just Bauble. Just Bauble. All right. Here we go. So Chalice for 2. I'm sure there's a better way to do this. I'm just going to do this quickly because I'm short on time. Why do we play Upheaval? I don't know. It's good sometimes, I guess. Okay, I'm sure there was a better way to play out that whole sequence, but whatever. 1 brainstone. I can get behind the brainstone. Brainstone kind of fills the same role as the thought monitor, but you can actually use it or fetch it with Saga. I get that. Jeez. They didn't have that a half a second ago. They did not have that. They top decked that. That's brutal. Names Walking Ballista instead of Emry. Okay, that's fair. Client is clunking up massively, by the way, y'all. I apologize for the fact that I'm likely to clock out in this match. But I can't realistically fix it. That's a really good draw. If they don't have a Thoughtseize. Which again, they didn't have last turn cycle, so 1 time for the 1 time. Like they're gonna play the Void Walker, right? Void Slayer, Void creature. And then the next turn they're gonna play Ensnaring Bridge, which is they play Cookbook. They have Path? Well, they just want to start discarding cards for Bridge, I guess. I may not have an out for Pithing Needle and Walking Ballista. I'm not sure. Jeez. I don't know why my client is being so unbelievably clunky tonight. It's actually like my computer, the CPU is cranked and I have no idea what for. Please path. Bone shards. Thank you. Surge node. I don't think it's MTGO. MTGO has been relatively good to me in the last while. Well, there's more than one deck name in the stream title there, Hugo J1407. One could come to the conclusion this is perhaps the second one. If one were so inclined. I'm not telling you you're wrong, Walter. I'm just saying you're an asshole. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, you're cool, Hugo. I have no. So that's a bit of a problem. And I don't have a second. Oh, I am actually level 1 with the raid. I wish I could give y'all some better news about how this is going. We're getting crushed by the clock more than anything else. But thank you so much for that big, beautiful raid. You hope everything's going well for you and your hot takes about the legacy format and vintage format more so. Oh, well, that's kind of in time, but like, yeah, it's not my general play speed with this deck that's failing. It's Moto, and I don't know why. I don't know if you noticed a big spike in lag or whatnot, but it's been brutal. I think I'm just dead. Oh no, Liquimetal theoretically could pull us through. There's no boat. Yeah. I did not build this deck, by the way. I would build the deck with boat. Yes, I could animate their bridge and kill it, and I'm aware of that line for all new arrivals, but they have a Walking Ballista, they have a Pithing Needle and Walking Ballista, and we don't have a Sky Sovereign. So that is not, there's no out. We cannot Ballista them. And our one Upheaval has been spent. Yikes. In theory, if my clock wasn't so brutal, I would Liquimetal them off all their lands. And in theory, eventually they would draw up enough and clunk out and die. All right. Can Moto handle a 90,000 card deck? Moto can barely handle a 240 card deck. So my assumption is no. All right. So I think that would have been a win under normal circumstances. But I like, obviously I can't say for sure, but I think at that point we were pretty deterministic to take that. But it does highlight a potential weakness in the sideboard of this deck. Jeez, this is pretty unplayable. I have everything closed that I can have closed right now. Moto's even really not taking up that much, but I'll play. Oh, okay, we're on match 4, so we can do the 2 more. But this is not pleasant. You could see my stream from Saturday, like it wasn't like this. It got a little bit like this when we were like late in a match playing the teamer deck, but my stream is choppy. Yeah, I'm not surprised. My bit rate, like my internet is fine. It's not the internet, it's my CPU, and I'm assuming my CPU is chopping because of the All right, so turn 1 Surge Node Cornucopia, turn 2 Saga Charge, turn 3 Construct. We'll see where we go. Seems fine. Not great, but fine. Like, I can't even rearrange my hand. Oh, there it goes. All you can ask for in Modern. Fine. I mean, this is going to be a reasonably quick thought monitor, I guess. That's not too bad. Dotsies. Yep, that's fine. I didn't need any of these cards in this hand. You can take whatever you want. It's basically all the same to me. Yeah. Well, no, I want this in this turn. Red black in the main deck is unlikely to be able to kill my Saga. Though if I'd played the island, I would be able to play the Rebuke, but that's okay. Surge Node is the Dice Factory pet card, Bolt de Burb. Surge Node, Everflowing Chalice, and Astral Cornucopia. These are the cards that make the Dice Factory hum. Coretapper's cute would make a fine pet. Yeah, that's probably accurate. So if I make a construct, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts. There's not enough of the thought monitor. So probably just move a counter and make a construct. I play the Cornucopia on 0 because it means my construct is bigger. It's likely they'll have a push or bolt, but bolt is not going to be good enough for this construct. Construct going to be too thick. Dice Factory feels like a misnomer on Moto. Okay. I mean, you're not wrong, but like, what do you want to do? What do you want to call it? Like counters company? Because it's a company, like a factory that makes counters. I think Counters Company is a better name, friend. How about Counters Company? I'm enthused about that name. Wait a minute. If they have any instant, it doesn't matter if I counter it or not. Because opponent had me discard a Planeswalker. So we'll just take the 3 here. I don't care. But if I can tax their removal better than that. Yeah, I'm aware. That was the joke, Phoenix. I don't need these all on 1. Yeah, exactly. In paper, you would use dice. Yes. Yes, you would. I'm glad we're all talking this whole nonsense to death here. Did I tap badly? I did. I did tap badly. Let's get Tormod's Crypt. Yeah. Crypt seems good. Oh no, I have an extra land drop. Okay. We can go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, does this already cost just 1? Oh, sick. This card is great. Poing. That monitor. Okay, I think this might be the most awesome blue, like single color Urza deck I've ever played. Like just like blue Urza construct nonsense. We got Lightning Bolt my Thought Monitor. Okay. Take 7? Smash? Oh, the Tarmogoyf's a 7/8. That's a thick boy. Good thing I have this Tormod's Crypt in play. Otherwise, I'd be worried. So I can exile my Crypt plus my whole graveyard, which means it'll be a 3/4. They eat their own bolt. Resolves. By the way, make sure you type MTG when you try to find the Taking Turns Reddit. Just a life lesson learned the hard way. I'm sure that's not all that was hard in the Taking Turns Reddit. Eh? Eh? Eh. Boop. Need Altar of the Goyf for tribal. Is that a tribal artifact? I never actually paid attention to the type line. Tarfire is tribal. No, I understand it would be tribal artifact hyphen Lurgoyf. Or is there some line of text on it where it says Altar of the Goyf counts as a Lurgoyf in all zones or some nonsense? The mono black Goyf is pretty fun. The new one or Mordivore? Because Mordivore is awesome. Not good, but awesome. And modern legal. Oh, we already won. We already won. I didn't need to do anything more. We just attack for 14. Yeah, there's a new Goyf. There's a new black Goyf. It's got madness. It's 5 CMC. It's a star 4. And yeah. No, Mordivore is the old black Goyf from Odyssey block. But it is modern legal. So I think I want Leylines against the discard deck. Obviously, Rebuke felt pretty damn good, but like, I don't know. Yeah, Upheaval can keep that. Crypt is fine. Pithing Needle's probably no use. No, it's no problem. I don't remember the name of the new Lurgoyf. The black Goyf from Modern Horizons 2. Necrogoyf. What? That's okay. Its power is equal to the number of creatures in each graveyard, and at the beginning of each player's upkeep, they discard, or at the beginning of your upkeep, each player discards. And then it's 1 black madness, 3 black casting cost. So it's unpushable, which is kind of nice, and unboltable. How do you beat a collector oof? Nobody's playing that right now. Is the hope and a prayer, I guess. Well, I have no colored mana whatsoever. Although I can Saga for Cornucopia eventually. Is the joke with Altar the Goyf that is a tribal on it, which is the extra type that usually missing a pump Tarmogoyf? I mean, I think that's one of many. Yeah, Upheaval. Upheaval is how you beat Collector Oof. But it's going to be hard to have enough mana. Oh god, Ragavan on the play. Should we just concede now? Just deny the opponent the pleasure? Opponent said GG in chat, folks. They're a raging douche. I'm kidding. They said at the end of the last game. Ragavan in their Tarmogoyf Luris-less deck. No, they so I think it goes in the mono red mid-range deck. They got Surge Node. Enjoy, opponent. I think Ragavan goes in the mono red mid-range deck. I assume it goes in some black red Luris decks. Other than that, I have no idea. Oh, you're right. Saga can't grab Cornucopia, and I saw that the last time I was looking through the deck. Any kind of moon ramp? Yeah, because they're already willing to... No, that wasn't really the plan. It's not like I was super committed to like, oh, thank God I can... Yeah, we're against just like Jund. You could play Ragavan and Jund. I mean, obviously it works. And they're doing good things with it, but I don't think it's a great fit. It's not bad. Unfortunately, I basically have to trade this Coretapper for Ragavan, which is really upsetting. Of course, they're going to have the removal spell, but still. Assuming they didn't. Yeah, Lurrus Jund would be the go-to, I guess. Correct, yeah. It has to be exactly a cost of 0 or exactly a cost of 1 generic mana. Surge Note is a credit card. Sure. Just keep charging to it. I thought it was one of those phone battery packs. Yeah, but Legacy is a very different format, Mike. Legacy doesn't have one of the top archetypes right before the meta shift was playing 4 Lightning Bolt, 4 Lava Dart. Legacy has Daze and Force of Will. Legacy has ways to protect Ragavan besides... No. The words are Legacy has ways to protect Ragavan. And Legacy is not a format that encourages so much main deck removal. Yeah, one drops are considerably better in Legacy. Legacy is Wasteland. There you go. You're scared to buy the Ragavans because they'll get banned? Well, okay. I don't know what to tell you. Buy them and ride the high, or don't. Oh, I don't think it's going to be unplayable in Modern, but I think it's a bit overhyped right now. Maze of Ith's time to shine. But they have Wasteland. We just went over this, people. So Ragavan got them a Mishra's Bauble, by the way, which was gross. Wow! That sucks. I mean, it's not a big deal, but like, holy shit. Do they also have the Fatal Push? Am I getting got every single which way? Please? No, do it before the trigger resolves. Really rub it in. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh. Rats. Oh, the Dragonkin Channeler? Dragon Rage Channeler? Dragon Rage Channeler. Caesar's probably even worse. I'm nowhere close to having double blue, so not really. They kind of can't attack. Yeah, like I mean, I think they should have. I think they absolutely should have sacked the Ragavan there. To get through for 4 damage. Like, are you kidding me? This game's almost over. Like, kill me. This is so greedy. Punished. Although, this Leyline's stuck in my hand, so their 1/1s are going to be able to attack for the next little while. Surveil on Spellcast is pretty sick. Yeah, it seems like it would be. I can't not get the bridge. I have to get the bridge and just pray they don't have another discard spell in their hand. Yeah, that's all there is to it here. So I guess I could crypt it, but they'll also kill the Karn, or at least they should. I suppose if they have a discard spell, they might put the bridge in my graveyard and be like, okay, we're safe. Okay, calm. Thanks, Mike. All you do is doomsay. I mean, I appreciate the intelligent, insightful read on what thing I can't possibly play around that's going to kill me. But I'm really, really shocked they're not playing Luris, but I guess... Oh, maybe they were in game 1 and they brought in Obsidian Charmaw. Actual factual shatter. Not shenanigans. Actual shatter. That'd be the end of modern. The end of modern, Michael. Don't you understand? There's no reason to play that card. No one would ever name it with Meddling Mage. Yep. No one would ever Meddling Mage the Shatter. Target player discards a card? Okay. They have one card left in hand. What's the plan? They're gonna hit me for 10 and then just kill me? What is that? What? Okay. Ensnaring Bridge is so over the top rude. I mean, they exiled an island. Last card in hand is a discard spell that you didn't play before. Oh no, right? They've got 2 treasures. Is it Liliana? Yeah, brutal. God, that's disgusting. Well, it was interesting until it wasn't, right? I mean, yeah. Well, and I don't like cards like Ragavan existing. Leonin Arbiter is another example of cards that I can't stand. Leonin Arbiter is just by far one of the grossest Magic designs of all time. Well, there are some people who are doing that, Merry Winter. Like, and that's the thing is, like, I feel like the market for streamers who are trying to test things that are already mostly streamlined is pretty saturated. And I just enjoy touching on these offbeat decks. I mean, they're just printing pushed cards all over the place. Seems to be the mood of the day. If they print pushed cards in new sets, then they will sell more cards. Yeah, yes, I agree. No, sorry, Last God, my point about Arbiter is not even about when it was made, or like any of that, but the problem with Arbiter, in my opinion, in Modern and Legacy to a lesser extent, although it doesn't see play in Legacy, is that it punishes people for doing something that you're just kind of supposed to do. Like, you're just supposed to build with fetch lands, and it's unrealistic to adjust how you build your decks around Leonin Arbiter. So what it breaks down to is there are a bunch of games that are won on lost entirely on, well, I had a Leonin Arbiter and my opponent kept a hand with 3 fetches. Easy solution, ban fetch lands. Okay. That's not really a solution, but okay. That's how you feel about Blood Moon? Yeah, but Blood Moon, at least there's more play to it. There's more play to Blood Moon than there's to Arbiter. Arbiter coming down on 2 is just insane. And like when main deck Blood Moon decks get more popular. Thanks for the follow there, Colorette. Oh no, it's broken again.
But my mom.
Yeah, it's looping. You guys can't hear it though. Well, I mean, you can now Force of Swords the Arbiter, but Yeah, but so the other thing is that because of the construction of modern, or the play patterns of modern, however you want to say it, because of what modern is and how modern is, um, red decks, it's very easy for red decks to be super popular and basically immune to Blood Moon and kill the shit out of Blood Moon decks and a lot of other decks. Yikes. Um, why is Ensnaring Bridge a colorless card? Because it's an artifact. Okay. Am I willing to trade Emry for Ragavan? Yes, yes, I am. So my opponent mulled to 5 on the draw to have a turn 1 Ragavan, and we seem pretty helpless against it. I mean, not really, but it's kind of a huge pain. Back to basics you have to work for. I think it's the most interesting one. Yeah, back to basics is kind of cool. Oh no. Charmaw? No, you can't. Come on. They're like Charmaw, then Kolaghan's Command. Or Kolaghan's Command, then... No, they can't do both. Oh, absolutely Bolt to Burb. I think we're going to be in trouble here. Hey, look, it's that thing I... Oh my god, why is it so brutal? Jesus. This is such crap. Well, Choke is a specific color hoser, right? Like Choke is not even the same league as those other cards, right? They got Leyline. Yikes. This is so gross, by the way. Like this is what I'm talking about. Like we're just basically dead here. Yeah. That's ridiculous. That was so bad. I just the turn 1 monkey. It drew them a card every single turn plus ramp them. Nothing I could do. Well, I didn't really draw them a card ever, did it? Huh. Because they flipped an island and then the ley line. They didn't even use the mana. No, it's just a K-Com. We had a mediocre draw, I guess, and the K-Com just totally destroyed us. Alright. Monkey wasn't even really a factor there. Just annoyed that my... Yeah, I'm just annoyed that my alert thing is broken. Just looping endlessly and I don't know why. I can't fix it. Oh, there we go. Well, I mean, the other thing is like modern's already super punishing to non-basics because you have to play shocks and shocks damage you, and so burn decks are already disproportionately good. So I just don't. I don't know. Jeez. That's my 5, but I can't find more lands. Whew. Like, I don't know. Can you go to 4 in this deck? I guess we can. I can't find more than one land. Ah. All right. I think we pull a Kai Buddha. I think it was Kai. It was definitely an old school player thing to do. Well, Terror, I don't think you can credit the entire death of Pioneer to um no, it's so again, the story of Pioneer is very complicated. It's very complicated. I don't think that we're doing any service to it in this forum. I think Pioneer was a great format. Then it hit its combo winter, and unfortunately, the combo winter happened at the exact same time that COVID happened. And because there was no paper play, they started pushing Historic on Arena, and then they just let the format rot for like the entire time. And so for all of these reasons, just people completely fell off of it. And by the time they finally did fix the format in terms of banning all those combo decks, nobody really cared anymore, and there was no reason to care. Yes, there are people who care, but it's there's no it's the damage has been done, and so people are starting to come back to it. Sure, I mean it could, that's possible. Terror, it also doesn't like, I don't think people want to play paper Historic. Yeah, none of this has anything to do with fetches, in my opinion. I don't think any of the problems with Pioneer have to do with fetches. I think starting Pioneer as the fetchless format, it was a really good idea. I don't like it, but it was a good idea, and it helped make it a unique format. It's a format where Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time can be legal. Uh, yeah, Darth 2, it can add one. It can add a colorless no matter how many chapters it has or how many counters it has. It gains that ability. It doesn't lose that ability. Same with the second chapter. Yeah, paper Historic is just would I think paper Historic would just be no fun. I don't think that's necessarily true, Terror, because sourcing the cards would be a pain. Yeah, I'm with you, Mr. Fringe. I would play Legacy a lot more if I could ever expect to be able to play it in paper. I'm sure there's lots of people who tried paper Historic. I just think, generally speaking, it's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong. All right, so we'll bring in an extra rebuke against Titan. Keep the upheaval. Like ditch the Pithing Needle. No, Pithing Needle's okay. Tormod Crypt. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's probably more true than anything else, Mike. Is that once you know people who play a format, you'll probably play the format. And sorry to touch on an important point earlier. Yeah, I don't really know why Thoughtseize was in Pioneer, other than it just happened to be. I don't want to know what Fetchless Legacy would be like personally. One person who actually knows the format better than me said it would just be way super chock full of like decks playing like 20 dual lands, which would make the format even more inaccessible than it already is. which is probably correct. I mean, not 20 dual lands, but like probably more dual lands than they're currently playing, which would make Wasteland and its ilk even more powerful. You want Brainstorm to get banned? Not, it'll never be banned from Legacy. It's part of the identity. Ban Ponder. I don't think banning Ponder would have as much of an effect as you think. Preordain's going to do a pretty good Ponder impression. Yes, please unban Astrolabe. It never got a chance to live without Oko. It wasn't fair. Vintage is the preordained format. That's a statement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can play Thought Monitor on this board. I can play it for cheaper if I play Chalice first. Is it worth doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, probably not. Yeah, it is. If I pick up Metallic Rebuke and a land, it's probably worth doing anyway. What? 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 Amulet Titan? Or I don't know if it's Amulet Titan, but Titan just cast Counterspell. Holy shit. I'm so upset I can't see straight. Yeah, that's complete and utter nonsense. Well, Dryad, right? Dryad's the answer for everything. Well, they're missing a lot of lands. Oh, but Mike, Dryad is so much more than that. That's the worst part about it. Well, I drew my second blue, so now I get to play Urza, which is pretty great. Beast Within. It's a good thing I have a backup Urza. Yeah, 2/4 for 3 mana. Gross. Oh, it's so bad. Is my alert still broken? Yep, of course it is. Hard evidence. Okay. Opponent's playing a lot of jank in their Titan deck. Like a lot. There must be a reason. New artifact lands being indestructible sucks. What format are they playable in? Oh, Pauper. Ugh. I think easily yes, Napoleon Born to Party, but I wait. What? Okay. Beast Within my Coretapper. That's a new one. Yeah, the Blue Thraven Inspector is sweet. Oh no, I like the card. I just like my opponent's card choices are crazy. In game one, they looked like a pretty typical Titan deck. This game, I have no idea what they're doing. I The new improved Fail Whale. You're not talking about Murktide Regent, are you? Because Murktide Regent is very different from Ethereal Forager. That's like saying Dreadhorde Arcanist was the new Young Pyromancer. That's just... I don't think Disciple of the Vault decks would be broken in Modern at all. Although Hardened Scales might be really good because I mean it just won the first or the second challenge with the new format, so it might be really good. Time will tell. There was only one person who seemed to be playing it, so. And Dom Harvey is a god. But why is Ethereal Forager the Fail Whale? I've seen that card do great work. Is it just because it rhymes? Because that is a poor reason for that nickname. Gets bolted. Oh, maybe. It didn't seem to be a problem when I was seeing people playing it, but... Well, this hand is kind of garbage. But I guess it's got a turn 2 Emry. And a Saga. Faced at least 2 Urza Saga decks a league right now, if not more. I mean, considering even Blue-White Control is playing Urza Saga. It's just a new toy, Turtle Power. I think it was at 80 already, at least for a little while. Zagoth Triome. Wow. So they're playing like the control version of Titan from a while back? Weird. Okay, so Saga can get me Surge Node. Also, second Emry is great. No, I agree with you, Mike. It's just like... The reason people aren't Affinity yet is because there aren't enough Sagas to go around. In Modern? Are you guys talking Modern or Legacy? Because Legacy, the Affinity deck seems good. Modern, the Affinity deck seems... I mean, I'm not sure. Obviously, Hardened Scales did well, but that's not the same thing. Huh. Black. Am I getting egoed? Nope. Dryad. It's like, what? All right. Nature's Claim? Dismember? Dismember. Well, that sucks. So unfortunately, this Urza Saga, I didn't really get to do much. It will fetch up an artifact and let me play my Urza still, I hope. Maybe they'll have Counterspell again. No, it doesn't. It doesn't get a single worthwhile card that produces mana at Bolt to Burb. Not one. All right, no Valakut, please. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. Sure. Those opponents really really got some stuff going on over there. Yeah, rude. Acceptable, but rude. Yeah. So, just got to do that. Surge node. Land. Urza. Do you dare block? Node the Astral first? I could just do it later, right? I don't need to do it. Yeah, Urza makes mana. Yeah, that's what I had in my head, where I have extra mana to go around with, and I don't need to do anything with it. Okay. Second Dryad. Crows and Grip, though. You know what? If they Crows and Grip me, that's on me. That's on me. I know how to be a man and say I fucked up. Is it just Simic control? I don't know. I have no idea what my opponent's doing. None. But I'm here for it. I probably should have played the Citadel. I just wanted to have the Blast Zone go up to 3 this turn, which I can do in a single turn. And I don't have enough mana to do anything else, so Dryad indicates it's 5-color control. It certainly looked like it, but I don't think they're playing like a meta, like a deck that anyone's used to seeing. They played Counterspell off of 2 blue producing lands. Like this is not a deck that people are playing. If this is Titan, oh god. I get 1 spin with Urza to try to beat it. Well, especially it's like every game they've had. Yeah. Why is my hand 2 lands? So there's 1 Metallic Rebuke. There's 2 Metallic Rebukes in my graveyard. Emry betrayed me. God damn it. This is probably 12 damage. All right. Well, I save us Urza. I'm not spinning for 1 Metallic Rebuke. I'm gonna see what they do here. Your towel. Yeah, double Valakut. Blast Zone plan still seems fine. They have a Titan in play. The Blast Zone plan is not fine. It takes me all of the mana over my next full, like, this, all the mana I have now, and all the mana I have once I untap, just to kill the two Dryads and not touch the Titan, which I really don't have a plan for. So I'm not going to say the Blast Zone plan is fine. I'm going to say it's not terrible, but it's mostly terrible. So, you know. Good night, friend. Valakut's are real bad without the Dryad. They have a Titan. Like, I mean, I agree with you, but, like, how much does it matter? They have a Primeval Titan. No, I get it. I'm just, like... The Titan's gonna start generating... I mean, I assume. I don't know how their deck is built, so maybe it's super lackluster once they lose the Dryads. Maybe their Titan doesn't go for much at all. I don't know, but... Yeah. I mean, we could draw into Karn or Upheaval. I mean, we're not dead, but I'm just... This is horrible. Like, we just had super crappy luck in the early game. Both Emrys died basically immediately without generating any value. We milled both Metallic Rebukes. Drawing one of them would have been great at any point, but... That is maybe the truest. No. They don't have a second Titan, do they? Of course they do. How could they not? No pact required. Unreal. You forgot Vigilance. You forgot Vigilance. Haste, Vigilance, Double Strike. Yeah, Teleria West. So even if they hadn't had the next Titan, but technically I could still draw Karn and get out of this. Well, there is no next one, Merrywinter, so... At least I don't think there is. I'm pretty sure this is match 5. This league has been really, really exhausting. It's not even exhausting, it's just tedious because the client is not responding. The next one's next match? No. The next... I mean, the next match that I'm moving on to is tomorrow, so... I'll stick it out for the final. Wait, they had a Misty Rainforest? When did they have that? What? Huh. Well, I screwed up. I mean, I'm not dead for it or anything, but... Well, maybe I'll come back in the afternoon after I get my COVID shot. I am excited to be at lowered risk of death. Did they actually play a growth spiral? Oh my god, they did. Sorry, I just totally checked out Brave Mustache. Good catch. I just don't care anymore. Because it's just like we've got this 1 in a million shot of like we got a top deck Karn or Upheaval immediately. Which Karn is not that big of a long shot. It's just everything's being broken and annoying tonight. Like my alerts are broken. They're not looping anymore, thank God. Hey, remember that thing I said? So, yeah. I mean, we had a 5 in 39 chance, which is not high. It's not 0. Don't worry, they're gonna have Dryad or some other nonsense that kills us anyway, but all right, Cookery Kid, what do you got? Blast Zone gets it in a turn, but it buys you time. Oh, I have a Pithing Needle. I have a Pithing Needle. They can Teleria West for something, but they can't Teleria West for Engineered Explosives. Incoming Wolf Run. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I really wouldn't. Or Walking Ballista. Do they have another one? What is this? Is this an ultimatum? What is happening? Banefire? No chance. No chance, Banefire. Could be a lot of stuff, but there's no. I don't believe Bane. Oh, Hydroid Crassus. There you go. We did see them discard that in game 1. Okay, so they drew 4 cards. Don't know why they chose that number. Like, they can crank Blast Zone once this turn now? I don't understand. They have Cryptic Command? They have enough blue for it right now. Yeah, it's going to be Cryptic Command. 10 out of 10. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. This is the old blue-green Titan deck. That's what they just lost to. The old blue-green Titan deck. That was all right. All right. All right. I'm not even mad about it anymore. Hydra Crassus saw plenty of modern play. Or standard play, sorry. That's not what I mean, Terror. I mean the old blue-green Titan deck when blue-green Titan Field was a deck. And then after that, when it was the blue-green Titan deck that didn't have Field. The deck they splashed Invasion of the Ice Giants into, and they said, wow, this deck is so good. And it's like, well, yeah, but it was already good. The invasion is doing nothing for you, essentially. Anyway, so this was a train wreck of a league. We went 1-4. Could have been a 2-3 if I hadn't timed out against black-white prison nonsense. So I don't know why my client is so freaking horrible tonight. But generally speaking, this deck seems really fragile. Really fragile in Modern. As Dice Factory frequently does. So Kolaghan's Command is going to kill the hell out of you. But you do get some interesting games. It did feel like we were just like brutally unlucky. I'd have to watch CherryxMan play this deck more to have something more of an understanding of how it's not the internet, it's my computer, Terror. It's the CPU is running like double the percentage that it normally would be while I'm streaming, and I don't know why. Anywho, yeah. Gosh, I don't know about this one. In many ways, it was really fun and sweet, but like we had to mold a 5 so many times, and like I feel like this deck can't function that well on 5, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something I'm fundamentally misunderstanding about what this deck does. Thought Monitor was really good in places, so that was cool, but I don't know. It's too small of a sample size to really know, but it didn't feel like this deck was broken. It did feel like when the stuff came together, it was pretty powerful, but it's hard to know, like, is the consistency as low? Yeah, there's 19 lands. Is the consistency as low as what I experienced, or did we just hit the absolute lower end of the of the luck bucket? Anywho, with all that out of the way, thanks for hanging around, folks. I'm going to try to raid my good friend Ms. Lizzie. But if you are in the future watching this on the YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, check out any of the other videos on my YouTube channel that you enjoy. For everyone who's live, I'll be back tomorrow night playing more of Modern's best and brightest, or jankiest and craziest, or whatever it is I find that I feel like I'm interested in. Thanks for the follow there, Chame. There's definitely Lantern Control coming later this week. Maybe Velomachus turns. Maybe Enigmatic Incarnation. Lots of fun stuff coming. So swing on by, check it on out, and stay healthy. Take care.